How is it that 225,000 people in this country feel so scared and so vulnerable? And explain how bad that is, because I don't think people understand.
Well, since October the 7th, when, as everybody knows, an unprovoked terror attack and massacre in which 1,200 people were killed, babies, children, young people, old people were killed for no reason. It was a normal Saturday morning. They were just doing what people do on Saturday morning, washing their hair, watching telly, having an argument with their husband or wife. And this unprovoked terror massacre occurred. Since that day, there's been a tidal wave rise in anti-Semitism against Jewish people in this country. The connection, I don't understand, do you, between an unprovoked massacre of innocent people in Israel and deciding to hate a kosher butcher in Manchester or Leeds or London? Why would that possibly make any sense to anybody? But Jewish people who've been comfortable and happy here all these years suddenly feel scrutinised and worried and are seeing all kinds of things, and recipients of horrible graffiti. People are told if your child goes to a Jewish school, make sure that she or he doesn't wear their blazer in case they're identified as Jewish. Yeah. People who would normally cover their head with a skull cap don't really want to do that in the street anymore. People are just nervous and worried, and with excellent reason. The police say that, you know, anti-Semitic incidents have increased 1,300% in 7 weeks. So it's not imaginary. This is confirmed by the police.
Do you think this could mark a real moment for, and sadly, the necessity that we need education on what constitutes anti-Semitism in some cases? I think it's really disappointing that with other forms of racism, it's often obvious to people and people accept it quite quickly. Whereas when it comes to anti-Semitic racism, people aren't quite as quick to kind of catch on and really realise what is anti-Semitism and what isn't.
I find that, you know, a mystery. I don't really know why, but obviously David Baddiel's written a whole book on it.
Of course, yeah.
And his book is called Jews Don't Count. So somehow or other, it's obviously you would abhor racism towards anyone in the black community, anyone Asian. It would be absolutely appalling. We all would. We'd rise up. But somehow it's okay to be...
But why is it okay? Because it's fundamentally not okay.
Of course it's not okay.
And you're absolutely right. Why is it okay to be more vociferous about any form of other racism, but when it comes to Jews, it's not? Can I ask you something? Yes. And I know it's my bag, I always do this. The BBC banned its Jewish staff from attending the march, but as the talk, you were allowed to go as a TalkTV. And so if you work for the BBC, you can't go on that, but you can go on other things. What does that say? Does that not show you a fundamental, basic anti-Jewish feeling even there?
I think so. Because anti-Semitism is just racism. So if I'd been at the BBC, of course I would have had to go on the march. And if they said I couldn't go, I would have had to go. How could I not go? And if I didn't go, if I did go, I'd have been fired. And if I
would have been glad to be fired, though, for something you believe in, right?
I'm so glad I'm no longer there, and that's another thing. I've been very proud to work at the BBC for just shy of 30 years. So what a thing! How can you say that you can't go on a march against racism? How can you say that to
bizarre.
anyone?
They did
How
it with...
can you say that? Racism is illegal. Yep. It's immoral. How can you say to staff who are sentient beings who must be able to decide what they want to do and where they feel they should be, you cannot go on a march?
It's awful. They've done it with other marches as well.
It was quite interesting what you said. 225,000 Jewish people in the United Kingdom and 105,000, almost half of the Jewish population turned out on Saturday. Yeah. And also a large number of supporters. Tell me, I know there are people who have caused the Jewish community problems, but the majority of British society, British people, are we treating Jewish people correctly? Could we do more?
I really hope that most people are just nice, decent, honest, truthful, happy people who just want to get on happily with their neighbours and don't judge you or think about where you come from or what your religion is, because really, what's it got to do with anybody else, what you believe or don't believe, or whether you do or don't attend synagogue, or where your parents or grandparents, or in my case, some of my great-grandparents were born in this country. I mean, I'm really horrified that this had to happen at all, that we had to go on a march. I'm absolutely shattered by some of the anti-Semitic and vilely racist trolling that I've received since. I mean, yesterday I got home, I looked at my phone. I should have just thrown it away. I thrown it in a pond or something. I mean, I really mean it, because you know, messages and pictures of me on the march with messages saying, "We see you." and then unfollow, and then describing
Don't
me
bother
as
about people like that.
human excrement,
And it's easier
as
said than
you
done,
know,
isn't
a
it?
curse, as you know, every vile slur, disgusting swear word, horrible thing that you could wish on.
Well,
the
I hope you
worst
know that
person
the
on
people
earth.
with a heart and a soul and the people that
course.
know the truth absolutely stand with you,
I
shoulder
hope
to
so.
shoulder.